What if NASA slammed the door shut the moment humanity's first visitor knocked? On October 30th, 2025, millions watched a live feed of an interstellar object named 3I/Atlas, only for the screen to go black at the most critical moment. Seconds later, radio telescopes detected a structured signal, and the world space agencies initiated an unprecedented information lockdown that remains in effect to this day. Was it a technical glitch, or was it a cover-up of historic proportions? Let's explore this together.
The interstellar visitor.
Have you ever considered what you would do if a messenger from another star system arrived unannounced? Long before it caused a global panic, 3I/Atlas was a scientific curiosity, first flagged by the Automated Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS, in Hawaii. Astronomers quickly realized it wasn't from our cosmic neighborhood. Its trajectory was traced back to the constellation Lynx, and its speed was far too great for it to be captured by our sun's gravity, confirming its interstellar origin. Unlike 2I/Borisov, the last interstellar visitor from 2019, which behaved like a predictable comet, 3I/Atlas was different. According to commentary from Dr. Robert Warwick, the astronomer who discovered the first interstellar object, Oumuamua, the lack of a coma or dusty atmosphere, on 3I/Atlas was the first major red flag. Comets are essentially dirty snowballs that release gas and dust as they heat up, but this object remained sharp and well-defined, even as it neared the sun. It suggested a composition of dense rock or metal, not ice. This simple observation was the first clue that astronomers were dealing with something far outside their experience, a visitor that didn't play by the established rules of celestial mechanics.
Global observation.
When something this strange appears, you point every camera you have at it. The discovery of 3I/Atlas's unique nature kicked off a massive global observation campaign. NASA and the European Space Agency redirected their most powerful space-based instruments, including the James Webb Space Telescope, to get a detailed look. On the ground, major facilities like the Subaru Telescope in Japan and the Very Large Telescope in Chile cleared their schedules. Dr. Michio Kaku, a theoretical physicist known for his public commentary, noted that the level of international collaboration was extraordinary and indicative of the object's profound importance. It wasn't just the professionals either. A wave of excitement swept through the amateur astronomy community, with thousands of backyard telescopes joining the effort to track its path. This created unprecedented worldwide attention, with millions of people tuning into public live streams to watch the object make its closest approach to the sun. This global vigilance was meant to ensure every moment was captured, but ironically, it meant that millions were watching when everything suddenly went wrong, turning a moment of scientific unity into one of widespread confusion.
The freeze.
Imagine you are watching history unfold, and right at the climax, the screen freezes. At exactly 11 hours, 47 minutes, and 12 seconds Coordinated Universal Time on October 30th, 2025, that's precisely what happened. On popular amateur streams, the crisp image of 3I/Atlas locked in place. The data overlays showing its coordinates, velocity, and spectrometry readings stopped updating. According to commentary from cybersecurity experts, the most baffling part was the inconsistency and precision of the event. While thousands of viewers on the same stream saw a frozen image, others reported their feeds continued normally for several more minutes, suggesting a targeted disruption, not a simple server crash. The chat rooms exploded with confusion as people tried to make sense of the fragmented and contradictory experiences. After about 30 seconds, the affected stream switched to generic error messages. To make matters stranger, NASA's official archived replay later showed continuous, uninterrupted coverage, a version of events that directly contradicts the real-time experience of countless viewers and immediately fueled accusations of digital alteration and a deliberate cover-up.
Radio signals.
While the world was, caught up arguing about a frozen video, a far more profound event was taking place in complete silence. What if the visitor wasn't just passing by, but was actually trying to say hello? Just seconds after the visual blackout began, radio observatories, including the Allen Telescope Array in California, detected a structured transmission coming from the exact location of 3I/Atlas. Dr. Jill Tarter, a pioneering figure in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, later commented that the reported characteristics of the signal were precisely what SETI researchers look for. It was not random cosmic static. The signal had a clear, repeating pattern, lasted for just over a minute, and was a narrow-band transmission, a hallmark of artificial technology. Professional radio astronomers use sophisticated filters to eliminate human-made interference, and this signal passed every one. It was, without a doubt, definitively from space. Its mathematical precision, pulses separated by consistent intervals, was unlike any known natural phenomena, like pulsars. Within hours, amateur radio operators with their own equipment began posting recordings that confirmed the detection, providing independent verification that this was a real, structured, and profoundly unexplainable signal.
NASA's panic.
So, how does a giant government agency react when caught completely off guard? In the hours following the radio detection, NASA's response was less like a scientific institution and more like, well, a panicked animal. They issued a brief, hastily written statement on their website, calling the radio event unconfirmed interference and blaming video issues on technical transmission errors. Then, in a move that absolutely stunned space journalists, they deleted the statement entirely within the hour. Casey Dreyer, of the Planetary Society, an expert on space policy, later explained that this kind of rapid retraction is unheard of. All official NASA statements go through a lengthy, multi-departmental approval process, and removing one requires authorization from the highest levels of the administration. The speed of the removal really suggested that orders had come down to shut the story down immediately, regardless of protocol or public transparency. It was the first clear sign that this was not a technical glitch, but a full-blown crisis unfolding at the highest levels of government.
Data lockdown.
If you wanted to hide something from the world, you wouldn't just delete a statement, you would lock up the evidence. Shortly after the statement vanished, NASA triggered an internal data protection notice. This is an extreme protocol, normally reserved for scenarios, like discovering potential alien microbes under planetary protection rules, or a direct national security threat. Dr. Seth Shostak, a senior astronomer at the SETI Institute, remarked that using this protocol for a passive celestial observation was simply unprecedented in the agency's history. The effect was immediate and absolute. Public interfaces that had been streaming real-time imagery suddenly displayed messages saying they were offline for maintenance. Partner observatories and university researchers found their access credentials revoked without warning. Scientists who had been logged into NASA databases for routine work were suddenly locked out of entire archives. The lockdown was so comprehensive that it even sealed off unrelated sections of the public record, erasing any data that cross-referenced 3I/Atlas, effectively building a digital wall around the entire event.
Anomalous readings.
So, what was in the data that was so terrifying it had to be hidden? Fortunately, NASA doesn't control every telescope on Earth. While the American agency was in lockdown, independent observatories in Chile and Japan kept watching, and honestly, what they found only deepened the mystery. A team at the European Southern Observatory measured the object's reflectivity, or albedo, and found it was bouncing back nearly 60% of the light that hit it, a value consistent with polished metal, not the 5 to 10% seen from typical asteroids. Meanwhile, researchers at the Subaru Observatory in Japan were tracking the object's trajectory with extreme precision. They found persistent, subtle deviations from its predicted path, a non-gravitational acceleration that just couldn't be explained by outgassing. Dr. Avi Loeb of Harvard University, who famously proposed an artificial origin for Oumuamua, stated that such an acceleration without a coma is a strong indicator of technology, such as a solar sail. And the final piece of the puzzle came from infrared measurements, which showed 3I/Atlas was far cooler than it should have been, consistent with a highly reflective, non-absorbent surface.
Information blackout.
When a discovery this big is made, it should spark global debate, not a wall of silence. As news of the anomalous readings spread through academic backchannels, a coordinated information blackout began. The European Space Agency quietly moved all its 3I/Atlas observations behind administrative barriers, citing a data review process that could take years. University observatories that normally share findings openly suddenly went silent, referring all inquiries to national science agencies. According to science journalists, graduate students working on related projects found that key data they had downloaded just days earlier had vanished from public servers without a trace. Freedom of Information Act requests filed with NASA and its partners were met with indefinite delays, citing national security exemptions. The systematic nature of these restrictions, happening across different countries and organizations simultaneously, suggested a coordinated effort at a governmental level to suppress the findings before any public discussion or peer review could even begin, creating a chilling effect across the entire astronomy community.
The Echo.
Just when the story had faded from the headlines, a faint echo of the mystery appeared, several weeks after the initial event, as 3I/Atlas was heading out past the orbit of Mars. Radio receivers at the Green Bank Observatory picked up another signal. It was much weaker, barely detectable above the background noise of the cosmos, but the pattern was unmistakably similar to the first transmission. An experienced radio astronomer on duty was one of the few who noticed it. They explained that automated systems are programmed to filter out such weak signals as noise, so it required a human operator to recognize the anomalous pattern in real time before it was discarded by the system. The signal's weakness suggested a distant source, and its location was perfectly aligned with the predicted outbound trajectory of 3I/Atlas. It was a potential follow-up message, a final fading whisper before disappearing back into the silent darkness of interstellar space, another piece of evidence that would quickly be buried.
Coordinated silence.
When new evidence surfaces, you expect a response, but what followed the echo was a profound and coordinated silence. Researchers and journalists immediately requested the original receiver logs and technical data from the facilities that detected the second signal. Just like before, the official response was a brick wall. NASA's public databases showed only standard calibration entries for those dates, with no mention of any anomalous signals. European facilities once again cited ongoing data review, and private installations refused to share their logs, citing non-disclosure agreements with government partners. This pattern of stonewalling is indicative of a pre-agreed policy of non-disclosure at an international level. It wasn't just a lack of answers, it was a refusal to even acknowledge the question. The coordinated silence was the final confirmation that, for whatever reason, the world's authorities had decided the truth about 3I/Atlas was not for public knowledge, leaving the rest of us to wonder what they saw. On October 30th, 2025, we witnessed an event that could have changed human history forever. An interstellar object displayed properties inconsistent with any known natural phenomenon, broadcast a structured signal, and then triggered an unprecedented global information lockdown. Was 3I/Atlas just a highly unusual space rock that caused a series of unbelievable coincidences and technical errors? Or was it our first brief contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence? A contact so profound that the world's powers decided we weren't ready to know the truth. The data is hidden, the questions remain unanswered, and the silence from those who know is deafening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the mysteries of space. Thanks for watching InnoVision Tech.